Mic check, mic check, mic check.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Maybe that's the problem, but it's not coming to my headphones for some reason. I'm not. I'm trying to be cool, but I'm stressing out right now.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
It's all sources. Let's remove. We got this guy. We need to remove. That guy can stay. Man, this is. I had all types of stuff set up as well too. I don't know why I'm not hearing in my headphones. That's the only thing that's just driving me crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm getting a little loop thing back as well. Are you got the YouTube one?
No,
No, you don't have a YouTube one.
no, no. Let me, give me one second. Give me a second.
So I think it was me. So it's a little bit better now.
Okay.
It's a little bit
Okay.
better. Yeah, it's still looping. I don't know what's going on. Sound levels. This is not the first time I've done this. This is crazy. So I don't understand why. It's giving me a whole lot of kerfuffle right now.
This is a little thing.
Yeah, and it's getting a crazy loop back now as well too.
Yeah.
Scarlet. Bluetooth microphone is off. Um, okay. Okay.
So I will exit out and try to come back in. So that makes a difference.
That's because okay, when I add myself to the page,
Okay.
that's when all the echo starts.
All right.
Um, yeah, dang it. I think might be my. Let me see if I can turn off my built-in microphone. Hello.
I
Damn.
can hear you.
Where's the feedback coming from?
Yeah.
Something's looping. I wonder if this. Let me see.
You sound good on my end.
It's looping in my ear. Heavy. Is it not looping?
No, no, you're good over here.
Let me turn this off. Uh, one, two, one, two, one, two. It's still got a bit of a loop. I need, if anybody's. Okay, that's off. Oh, you know what? Let me. It's probably me, and I know exactly what it is. Let's um, quit Safari. Okay, no, that didn't do it. I thought I had YouTube on in my background, but I don't.
Ah, gotcha.
I don't got it on anywhere. So this is not the night the camera I'm meant to be using. Oh, this is. If you can hear my end, this is crazy because I can hear myself.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, but I'm looping for some reason. Heavy. Uh, if anybody, you got anybody listening, asking if they hear the loop as well, or is it sound clear?
Let me see here.
Um, interview, like, if I mute. Hello, can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? No, you can't hear me. You can't hear me. No, you can hear me. Yeah, but I can't hear you because I've muted your mic. But it's I only muted your mic to see if it would kick down some of the feed, but it's not. Um, okay, mic check one more time. One more time. Built-in microphone.
Okay, we got one that says it seems like the loop is gone.
Okay. Well, let's give it a go because I think it's just looping in my ear, so I've got to try to soldier on. And so if I take the headphones on, maybe if I could, I'll take the headphones on and just talk to you. Um,
Okay.
so can you hear me?
Yes, indeed, I can hear you well.
Yeah. So I'm trying to go through the speakers in the but it's still looping in that as well too. That's crazy, man. But anyway, man, I do apologize to anybody that's tuned in that to hear our conversation, to hear the conversation. I was really looking forward to this as well, and to talk to Prince. It's 30 minutes later. This is amazing, man. It's 30 minutes later, and basically, we're just gonna just wrap and talk about like what is going on because the whole thing.
Absolutely.
He has a similar program to what I'm working on. Uh, Prince's program, I think, is I would say is more grassroots as to what I'm trying to do. I would like to develop champions. Basically, that's my long-term goal is to develop champions, and then to like recruit kids from uh, programs like Prince's and other people's. Like so, obviously, well, not obviously, but I'll be tapping into places like different countries in Africa, Kenya, Uganda, uh, Tunisia, a lot of these countries, Eritrea, like they got like really good cycling programs, but they just don't have that finishing touch, that polishing touch to take kids to the next level. So we're gonna talk to Prince, and we're just gonna just show you how we're doing different things that are similar that tie into one another. And I think at the end of the road, our paths will cross, and the kids involved will benefit from it. So that's it. So like, let you introduce yourself, and let them know where you're at, and also big thanks for your patience.
Thank you so much. Peace and love, Brother Ennis. Peace and love to the family out there. My name is Prince Mekonnen. I'm out of Philadelphia, PA, over here in the state. Add and share that some of the goals and objectives of Team Cycling Royalty was specifically to bring more peace and unity in a positive light and positive manner of more people of color to come together in a cycle, not only for its physical benefits, but also for its mental health benefits, but all together bring together, or bring even more so, the spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood, and also familyhood, and just being able to connect converse and relate to one another.
Cool. And again, I'm gonna say to anybody that tapped in, thank you for your patience. And if you are gonna listen, I think this is gonna be a really good conversation, and it's definitely something you wanna hear, be a part of. So let's get it started. Let's jump into it. So I've seen a couple live videos on IG where you're doing a thing or two, and like the last time I saw you, you were part of a program, but you said you're not part of that program no more. How long did that stop?
So just recently, I started working with BCYC, and it's been a journey of 2.5, 3 years in becoming a program manager there and working with the youth of Philadelphia. So if I can explain a little bit more about Bicycle Coalition Youth Cycling. So it so happens that the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia absorbed Cadence Youth Cycling, and they transformed to BCYC, or Bicycle Coalition of Youth Cycling. In particular, it's a fantastic initiative and opportunity that is presented to the youth of Philadelphia, which is mainly comprised of multi-ethnic individuals, mainly and dominantly Black and Hispanic. There are also Asian and so on and so forth. But when we look at the city of Philadelphia itself, it's majority Black and Hispanic. So, in light of that, and even understanding that cycling itself has always been portrayed as a white male dominated sport, but even moving past that and giving the youth of Philadelphia an opportunity to get into the sport of cycling, which you do know is a very expensive sport to get into, it gives them the opportunity to ride legit bikes, so to speak. We're not talking puffy bikes. We're not talking about Walmart bikes. We're not talking about Amazon bikes. We're talking about legit road bikes that the students are able to come in and learn about cycling. And we're talking about past riding around the block, past riding, to the park or to grandma's house, but
Mm-hmm.
really, really getting into the sport of cycling. Giving them helmets, giving them bikes, giving them all the cycling equipment that they need to be safe and successful in their journeys becoming cycling. So, in particular, with BCYC, or Bicycle Coalition Youth Cycling, there's a year of programming, and the year starts off in the spring season. And within the spring season, there are 12 weeks in which we have a core fundamental program which stresses safety, basic bike mechanics, and just getting comfortable out there on the bike. So, with those 12 weeks, the youth are coached by highly proficient coaches that have raced, that have toured, that have even become accomplished cyclists in their life and been national champions. So it's not rinky dinky coaches or anything like that, but some top notch coaches that are able to pour into the youth that join the teams, and allow them to grow, to blossom. And even if the youth want to be recreational cyclists or even competitive cyclists, they're able
Mm-hmm.
to give those basic fundamentals. So at the end of that 12-week period, the youth are tested by a written test and a riding test to show their proficiency. And if they're able to demonstrate that they can ride safely and conscientiously and mindfully, they're able to graduate and be considered what is called the all-star. At the all-star level, the bike that the youth have been practicing on, they're able to take that bike home and ride it as much as they like. They then are able to join a summer league in which specifically they'll be able to polish and hone the skills that they learned throughout the course of the spring season or the core season. So during the summer, the youth can join a racing team, a touring team, a mountain bike team, a cyclocross team, or even a triathlon team for those that want to swim or already know how to swim. And with that, the youth are able to go out to competitions, literally go out to crit races and flex their muscle, and also with that, go to different kinds of events. Now, to backtrack just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to the spring season, during the course of that spring season, not only, again, do they get the basic fundamentals that they need to be safe, conscientious, and mindful cyclists, learning how to navigate, learning the rules of the road, learning to obey traffic signals and all those different things there. We are giving our BCYC is also giving them the experience of being able to participate in their first crit race or participate in their first time trial, in which the youth are able to try it out and see what it is to really train and get prepared for a cycling event. And so it is a intramural event, so to speak, whereas during the course of the spring season, and even just reflecting upon that, BCYC operates in the capacity this past spring season of 11 schools in Philadelphia. So what that equated to was over 100 students, 100 plus students actually starting the season. And throughout the course of the season, we were able to maintain, let's say, a solid 80 to 90 of them. So again, we had a crit race for them, time trial race for them, and also a end of the season fun-based scavenger hunt, in which the youth actually meet up at their schools and plot a route with their coaches from their schools to the essentially field house, in which the teams come together and they visit landmarks and places of interest, and they accumulate points that way. And so whichever team accumulates the most amount of points is declared the winner, which is very interesting. It spices up the cycling experience. It really has the youth bond together.
Okay.
So, BCYC is a very, very comprehensive, very, very complete program. Whereas not only do youth actually are able to come in, learn, they can know absolutely nothing about cycling, but get into a sport that they actually grow in development and become proficient cyclists. They are even able to, at the senior level, and they're ready to graduate high school, they can apply for a scholarship, and BCYC will be able to afford them a scholarship. And we're not talking just a couple $100s. Some of the students that come through the program are able to be awarded up to $20,000 for college, university, technical school, which is absolutely amazing. With that, inside the program, there is a leadership track for the youth that really, really want to step it up in their leadership skills and abilities. And whereas they are able to join what is called the Youth Advisory Council. So the Youth Advisory Council is a group of 3 to 4 students which are elected. And so these individuals here speak as the advocates, the leadership of BCYC.
Yeah.
And some of the things that they do is that they come up with different ideas and suggest them to the BCYC staff, program manager, and coordinator, and so on. What they would like to do, what they would like to implement inside the program. Another example is that several years ago there was no cyclocross team or discipline within the program. However, the Youth Advisory Council came together and said, "Hey, we think we want to try cyclocross. It looks fun. Let's see if we can start doing that." So we were able to put together a team of cyclocross, have them coached. We actually take them out to cyclocross races. And that's just a little bit of it. The youth that join the Youth Advisory Council are literally advocates of the program again. They get to travel around the country and be an ambassador and speak up about BCYC. They get to talk about how it is to be a cyclist in Philadelphia. They get to see or hear all about the legislation about making bike lanes throughout the course of the Philadelphia. But also be able to travel around the country to the Youth National Bike Summit and so on and so forth, to be able to talk with other individuals all across the country about what they're doing in their specific cities about bike infrastructure and making it safe for not only cyclists but pedestrians and even motorists, being able to share the road and cooperate be on the road as well.
Okay.
So, go on and on about BCYC, but I guess
Okay.
in a nutshell, and in a gist, that's all the different components that exist within the world of BCYC.
Okay. That's a totally like you gave me everything about like BCB. And that's pretty cool. That's a lot of information, and I hope people can take it on board. So hopefully, I'll go back and clip this up, and then so people get little tidbits and just make some shorts, and we just give it some really solid information. So let's get into like the actual action. Like how has it been? Like getting kids stuff. Is it a struggle? Is it like what are you able to provide at this moment? If I brought you a kid right now,
So, fantastic question. So, I can say with 100% accuracy that cycling is a sport in which is very much so overlooked, especially when it comes to school age, because traditionally speaking, we have basketball, we have football, we have tennis, we got track, we even have swimming and so on and so forth. And so most youth know that, gravitate towards that. The only thing about cycling they know is riding a bike. Or here in Philadelphia, we have a culture of wheelie kids. We're
hmm
literally using groups of teens and even younger than that, popping wheelies, riding all around the city and so on and so forth.
how you feel about
Um,
those kids doing that?
it's an amazing skill and talent. However, they literally put themselves in danger
Yeah.
at the risk of that adrenaline run. And one of my thoughts was to appeal to them and see if we can meet them halfway and say, hey, well, Philadelphia has a pump track. So the skills that you utilize doing wheelies and stunts and things like that there, you can apply them to
Yeah.
BMX racing. And it completely minimized the factor of you being hit or run over by the car.
Have you like experienced like the BMX racing? Like, have you been to any events?
Well, me personally, I haven't gone to a BMX event itself, but I know many BMXers. I've also watched the skills and disciplines on YouTube videos, of course. But as far as getting out and seeing it or even trying it, I haven't had that opportunity to do so.
I did get that opportunity before I got into road racing because that's what I did first. I did the BMX, the freestyle. But the BMX racing itself is very family oriented. You see families with caravans and campers, and the crazy thing is, like I fixed a couple kids' bikes the other day. The parents spend thousands on these kids' BMX bikes, so it is a gateway into the sport because you can buy a really basic BMX and actually get going, but it's also becoming a little elitist as well. So I mean, entry fees, getting to the races, it's so that's another thing. I guess your organization could look at like kids that are getting into BMX. It's not like the sport of cycling itself. Once you get competitive, just to let people know, it's it's not cheap. It's not cheap. The BMX and I think the reason the kids ride around the city is because subconsciously they must know the cost of getting involved in that stuff, and it's on another level. It's like golf. It's like going to the golf club. So, but yeah, just to say to what you're saying that if you could get the kids in there and get a program where the kids can feel that same family feeling that all the other kids have, then you would have a winner. You would be on one. So
Absolutely. And to, I guess, backtrack and continue on with the answer to your previous question about getting the youth of Philadelphia interested into cycling. And like I was mentioning, it's quite the challenge, whereas, of course, there are traditional high school sports that you graduate or gradual,
hmm
gradually focus themselves towards or gravitate to. And so, what I've done to help, I guess, champion cycling in Philadelphia is like we literally, in our recruiting process, myself and my program coordinator, what we did was literally go to schools maybe twice or even three times a day to recruit. And so we threw everything at them. We had props, gave out sunglasses, we gave out snack bars, we gave out T-shirts
Mm.
to at least give our audience or to gain the audience with them, gain a listening ear to talk to them about the sport of cycling. But I think the most impactful thing of being able to do that was having two men of color actually go out there and meet them face to face, so to speak, and talk about the sport of cycling, not just from a third party perspective, but having two men of color that literally enjoy cycling and have done races, have traveled with cycling, have done tours, and so on and so forth. So the connection was genuine, and being able to share and impart the knowledge and the word about cycling to the youth of Philadelphia. And so the I guess game plan was able to yield some fantastic results.
Mm.
Whereas we probably had over 230, maybe we put close to 250 students at least show initial interest in what we had to say and share, and signed up, or at least gave us their contact information to receive more information about cycling. That translates differently to them actually starting a program, but at least having that initial contact with them was tremendous. And so as the years go on and BCYC recruits at their school again, that they'll be that much more inclined to say, sure, I remember you came over last year. I think I want to try it,
Yeah.
this year. I saw the pictures, I followed your social media and all that other good stuff there. So just that first initial step in the door, so to speak, or that first initial investment will definitely yield some great and even grand results in getting more and more students of color out there on the bikes. And if I can also, add along to that, as I was saying, um, as people of color in particular, we've gone to football games, we've gone to basketball games, track meets, swim meets, so on and so forth. But we've never really seen the sport of cycling being offered to us in such a way. So being able to do that and kind of just putting the basketball in someone else's hand and say, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you can do it. But saying, okay, here's the bike. This is how it goes. And even utilizing YouTube and different pictures and bringing up to say, hey, we have a legacy in the sport, in the world of cycling, and relating that to Major Taylor, and really just literally having a picture of Major Taylor out there on our tabling sessions with the youth, I'm sure was quite impactful. And even showing them videos of crit races with the Williams brothers and Bahati and all the others, and even Aisha McGowan, and just really making the connection and saying, hey, even though you might have seen the clip on ESPN, the Tour de France, and no one's there look like you, or
Hmm.
even though probably the most famous name is Lance Armstrong, he doesn't look like you. But here are some legit pro athletes that look just like you, and may have had similar experiences in life as you. However, they have found the sport of cycling and have revolutionized it and taken it to a whole nother level.
Okay. That's like some of the stuff you spoken. I wanted to touch on. I apologize. I'm really struggling with the with the audio.
Take your time. Take your time.
So yeah, because it's killing me. So I don't know if you can see the screen. What's on the screen? Do
Yep,
you
I can see the screen.
are you familiar with that gentleman, Benny and Gourmet?
Well, I just see you. I don't see anything else on the screen. But
Oh,
I'm familiar with that gentleman. Yeah.
okay. I know why. What about now?
Nope, not yet.
Oh my goodness, overlays. All of this stuff I planned out and put out before. I was like, okay, let's close that window. And okay, so if I okay, so anyway, I wanted to tell you about Medium Gourmet. Um,
Yeah.
he's from Eritrea, He's the first African rider to ride for a major pro team. He just finished the Tour de France. Well, he's not the first. Let me correct myself. He's not the first. You've had about 4 or 5 other riders from like Eritrea, uh, I believe Ethiopia. I can't remember the other country, but there's been a couple like African riders that have done some major stuff. But Biniam was the first uh, rider to win like a stage in the Giro d'Italia, and they was hoping he would be the first to win that stage in the Tour de France because he's a sprinter. But that didn't happen. And the only reason I'm bringing him up because it's you said something to me that was pretty interesting the other day about like being black in the sport of cycling and trying to be first and trying to be pave a way. And Vinium has a crazy that I can't get this picture up so you can see it. Let me just see. I don't know what happened to my overlays. Let me just try it one more time. But his quote said, "I started my career to be a good rider, not to represent Eritrea or to represent Africa. I don't need to always hear about this." What do you think about that statement?
Well, I can definitely understand the statement as being an individual.
Yeah.
However, I would differ in saying that you couldn't deny representing yourself, your nation, and your culture and tradition because you walk hand in hand with it. And even though, quote unquote, um, it's never good to prejudge, however, we do look at books by its cover. And looking so, when you observe a book, of course, then you say, okay, well, let me flip through the pages kind of based on what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, again, I would think and say that it goes hand in hand. You can represent yourself individually, but
Mm-hmm.
everyone sees the work around it. You can't separate or differentiate, so to speak.
Okay. So the reason that it's an interesting comment to me is that I understand what he's saying. I feel what he's saying, and I want people to recognize that like if I'm doing something like if I'm doing something amazing, if I'm being a pioneer, if I'm leading the way, yeah, I don't mind it. But I think it's been about 2 or 3 years where he's been touted as the pioneer and leading the way, and I think it's just starting to wear on him now. And I think he just like he's like friends with all of the guys in the pro peloton and everyone, and to him he doesn't feel like that anymore. I can imagine that he just he wants to feel like one of the not necessarily one of the guys, but just another person that races his bike professionally and is good at it. So it sort of takes a little bit away from that feeling because every other question is like, you want to be the first this, you want to be the first that. He just trains hard, he rides his bike a lot, and he wants to be successful. That's what I see. I don't want to take away anything away from that's being said or whatnot, but I sort of get it. I sort of get it, and it's probably wearing on him. Um, I was leading that in to say to talk about how I sort of feel a little bit.
Sure.
Um, it's like there, like what I want to do. My program is going to be targeted towards your kids, inner city kids. It's going to be targeted toward like kids that are coming out of the African countries, and I would like them to focus on. Yes, you're going to be one of a few, but the reason you're here is not because of what you look like. It's because you're damn well good at what you do. And I just, I don't want kids or people to lose sense and pride of who they are. I think Benny will tell you in a heartbeat how African he is. You know, the food he eats, to the way he dresses, to the way he dances.
Sure.
It's like, this is who I am. But when he's on his bike. I think what's being lost, and then what he's saying in his statement is that you're so focused on me being the first person this that I'm not really getting that chance to shine as an athlete like everyone else. You know, it's almost like he's getting a participation prize. You know, So, but yeah, that's due to my like because I hear like being in the black cyclist group, being in like the different group like black endurance and different groups like that. I just don't want people to lose sight of yes, you are doing something unique. You are unique. But when you get on that playing field, make sure they don't forget you.
Right.
And and I've seen occasions in the past in different sports where people got to get on the playing field and people were just clapping. Oh, oh look, that's so great. That's so fantastic. Look, bless his soul, bless their soul. They doing well. So like you saw those. Yeah, the swimmers that were the African swimmers they put in the Olympics a few years ago, and the swimmers were finished, and then you had the one African guy that was still a whole lap behind, and people were like clapping. you know, how many more kids did that spawn on to become swimmers? That was it. That was, it was like a novelty. So I just don't want us to lose sight of that. And I know you're not, and I know you're gonna push kids to be the best and stuff. But yeah, so
Absolutely.
but I just wanted to touch on that and stuff and just highlight that. And I was also gonna say the Commonwealth Games in 1998. I worked my ass off to get to that, qualify for that. I was there because I was good enough to be there. But what they did was like all the other Commonwealth, like they have a few Commonwealth countries, like I think of Africa, Ethiopia, a couple other places. They said just send your riders, don't worry about it, just send your riders. And it was like a 130-mile race or something like that, probably 10, 12-mile laps. And the first climb came within about 2 or 3 miles. And every African rider they sent, that was the end of the race when we hit that first hill for them. There were guys in sneakers that didn't even have the proper cycling shoes on. One guy was hanging on at the back for dear life, and I actually put my hand on his back and like pushed him so he could get to the top. And he's like, "Hi, thank you." And then as soon as we hit the back straight and they started going, he was shoo, he was out of there. So I just want to make sure that like we, when we put kids into this arena, they are just prepared and not there because they
Right.
got that special token and stuff. Because
Yeah.
but yeah, but
Yes.
I'm good, good.
Yeah. 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 So, I think that in giving the youth an opportunity to join and partake into the sport of cycling, you have to be realistic and prepare them for what they will experience, in it.
Hmm.
And even at the junior level, it's tremendously, completely competitive out there. And even though, for example, during the course of, again, that spring season, the youth go to practice, twice a week for 2 hours and then be able to hone and polish their skills throughout the course of the summer. Still, realistically speaking, they are juniors that have been riding their bikes competitively since the time they were 8 years old. And by the time they're 15, 16, they're as strong or even stronger as grown men out there
Hmm.
on the bikes. And so, just really, really, really relaying that imagery and message to the youth that um, there are many different levels. And even speaking to adults, there are so many different levels to cycling that will blow your mind.
Yes.
But, definitely get the youth prepared in what they can expect and getting them race ready,
Yeah.
but also giving them all the skills and talents that they need um, just to be sufficient and safe there on the bike there. And even though We encourage and motivate the youth of BCYC to try racing. Fundamentally speaking, we aren't always based on that. More about the holistic view of cycling itself, being able to, even if you want to ride around the city, just being conscientious, being confident enough, being mindful enough to be able to do that, being able to GPS yourself, being able to use landmarks to find your way around town,
Hmm.
things that we definitely, uh, promote and encourage with BCYC. Along with that, just being able to again reap the mental health benefits. Hey, go outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. Meet some new friends. Travel around the city, discover things that you didn't even know were there in your neighborhood, and it really broadens the horizons of meeting youth there. But also getting them into the understanding of, if you want to be a proficient cyclist, you have to gain some nutritional knowledge and knowing how to fuel your body and hydrate yourself when you're out there. Because sure, cheeseburger and fries taste good, and
Yeah.
you might be thinking about that, but that might not be the best thing, for yourself as far as fueling when you're out there on a ride, or even after you get home for a ride. But knowing specifically what things can help you and harm you in your bike rides and
I didn't have to put in the link. Let's see what happens if I put that in. Hello.
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic.
It sounds better this time around. Um, Let me see. That's built-in microphone. Let me mute the built-in mic. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. Is it? Don't loop, please. Don't loop. Don't loop. Don't loop. I think it's still looping. Yeah, it is.
You sound crystal clear to me.
Yeah, it's in my something's going on in my computer,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think it might be the I'm gonna have to go back and play with it and just do a bunch of lives on my own. But anyway, I sound amazing in my headphones, and that's what's up. But yeah, but yeah, we was talking about so like what about like I wanted to get in like finances and money and stuff. So that's been my big struggle at the moment. It's coming. I'm working with this a program called like Project Utilize here in the UK. They've looked at my blueprint. They looked at my plan. So if you want to see what I'm doing, I have a website. It's
Okay.
I should actually just put it in the comments. I will if I can figure out how to do it. But Actually, what I could do is I could just share my screen.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's share the screen, and then we're gonna
Fantastic.
go to. Here we go. I know who that guy is on a bike. He's somewhere in Italy. Thinks he's some type of professional. Still trying to live the dream and the
Maybe if I
finish.
look at the link via, maybe if I check out the link on YouTube, I can see where you're sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, let me have a look
So when
there.
you put the YouTube on, just make sure it's muted.
Okay.
So can you see it yet? I'm waiting for you.
It still gives the I guess the introduction screen. Actually, it's giving a countdown right now.
Right now, it's giving a countdown.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me go back to because it
Yeah.
says
So it looks like no one is able to see our faces, but it shows that icon picture advertising the podcast for the day.
okay. Um. Oh, you know what? Go to live. Go to live videos. Like if you go to like my videos and like the list we see videos live. Da-da. Don't click on your picture. Click on the one that says "Say it with your legs."
All right. Let's see.
I think I know what you're looking at.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Is that one showing the? You should see my YouTube
Okay,
screen coming
yes,
up.
yes. Yes, yes. Now I'm able to see on YouTube the small picture and then or the picture in the picture, so to speak.
Yeah.
Is that a
So
pic of you?
yeah, that's a pic of me trying to ride a bike. So let me go back to.
So if I can, I want to give a couple shout outs, and I also have some questions for you as well.
Okay.
So I want to, of course, shout out yourself for hosting this fantastic podcast here, and I have a few other brothers that I want to give a little holler across the pond, so to speak. So you got Mr. OG 357. You probably know
OG.
him as well.
Yeah, yeah. OG.
Yes, yes, yes. You got Manny from the Black Cyclist Network. You got my guy Greg Patmore as well. We just want to give a little shout out, a little holler to the fellas over there who have shown me a lot of love over the course of the years. We converse, we catch up with one another, and even share a couple of laughs here and there.
Yeah, yeah. So I know all of those guys you just mentioned. That's cool. So I haven't been to the city as much as lately because I've been working on like stuff here, just trying to get stuff going. I'm here building the plane as I fly it.
Nice, nice, nice.
So yeah, what? Hit me with the questions. Let me go.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, I actually started following you some years ago, and what initially piqued my interest via the Instagram was that I always saw you with one of those Fila Kuti T-shirts with his hands is up,
Mm-hmm.
and I always know that from seeing pictures of him, but his hands was up with a bike in his hand.
Yeah.
So that always struck me as being interesting because I'm a big Fila Kuti fan, and seeing him with a bike, was gave me a little smile, gave me a little chuckle. But from that time, I've always followed you via Instagram, and I might have even commented here and there on a few things that you've posted and so on and so forth. But I also, remember that you were out there in LA, or at least the LA area,
Yeah.
for some time, some miles in, doing some bike mechanics and so on and so forth. So I've spent some time, following you and seeing a bit about, what you have been up to over the course of these last years here. And I want to say it was what, maybe 2018, 2019,
Yeah.
that you were out over there. Were you still on stateside when the pandemic hit, or you had happened to
Yeah,
have
I
back
was
in
right
the
in the
US?
mix of it.
You're right in the midst of it. So I know that here on the East Coast, things locked down pretty much tightly. But I know that over there on the West Coast, the stipulations and lockdown were even more increased because there, I want to say during 2020, there is an event that you might have heard of called Pepper with the Pros, in which Rashawn Bahati, the Williams brothers, and a host of others come down to Miami,
Yeah.
and the good sister Erica L and Level Up, host that different event. And
Yeah.
so it happened that that year, even though we were kind of a little or less restricted, we were able to jump on airplanes. California was locked down; no planes were coming or going. So we had to jump on a Zoom call with Justin Williams and also with Sean Bahati to be able to converse and connect with them. But yeah, that big lockdown of 2020 was a very interesting thing,
Oh yeah, it was.
especially since stateside, it really kicked off a cycling boom in
It did.
which people of color really got out there on bikes, and it so happened that in my experience, because ultimately what so happens that I haven't necessarily been a cyclist for a long time. I started cycling in 2017. But what I did do and understand and realize that the hashtag Black Cyclists and social media works like a charm, because that's ultimately how I was able to really connect with a lot of um, black cyclists. And
Yeah.
even though 2017 wasn't long ago, stateside, how it is now wasn't what it was back in 2017, 2018, 2019. Whereas it was at that time, even going to cycling events and traveling around the country, if I wasn't the only black man there, I was one of the very few black men or black people there.
Yeah.
So people that came in 2020 and afterwards, they have never experienced being the only person of color in a sea of thousands of cyclists, or dealing with microaggressions, or having all kind of different things there, because they've only witnessed group rides where everyone looks like them, which is absolutely fantastic and amazing. But there have been some quote unquote trailblazers in the more recent years that have really set some good things in motion for cyclists up to date to really embrace cycling on a different level. And even though quarantine cyclists kind of, many of them kind of faded out, there's still many that stayed and have really embraced cycling for not only the physical, the sport aspect of it, but being able
I'm gonna
to
cut
make
you real quick. Sorry, I want you to continue. Don't stop. I want you to continue. I what just want to say too, like, cause we got a couple people that just logged in. Just if you just logged in, just make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, please. I beg you. I beg you. We're trying to do a thing, and everything we're talking about depends on like if you like and subscribe to the channel. So be up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
yes, yes. So within a big cycling boom, there have been many now that have kind of fallen off, but
Mm-hmm.
there's still a great group of cyclists that enjoy cycling not only for the physical aspects of it, but really enjoy it in the fact that we're really able to come together and fellowship with other cyclists. And one of the big things that I was really pushing as far as Team Cycling Royalty and how we came together was, again, as I was mentioning earlier, as people of color, we've never gone to a cycling event or had one prepared for us by
Mm-hmm.
us.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things that I did with Team Cycling Royalty was start having our Grand Fondo and inviting other cyclists of color to come on out, to come together to fellowship, but also get that experience of what a Grand Fondo is. what
Yeah.
it is to go out on a 100-mile ride, and be doing 5,000 feet of climbing. Not to over challenge them, but say, hey, there are levels to cycling. Sure, we can look good. We can put on nice kits to get fancy bikes and so on and so forth. But there's a lot more that comes along with cycling. Sure, we can ride 5,000 miles, but when we're able to come together is the biggest thing. I have a story for that.
Yeah.
So,
I just want to real quick before you carry on that.
yeah,
You said grand fundos, so just for people watching, that is probably the perfect way to get into the sport, right? Because the grand fundos tend to be you have a choice in 30, 50, 75, or 100 miles. So that's a perfect way to get into the sport, enjoy yourself, and not be stressed out. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So I'll condense it because it can be a long story. So I'll make it as short as possible. So there's a point in time in which I do fast, right? And during my fasting period, through the course of many years, I've watched the miniseries Roots.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like for 5 years, maybe 6 years straight. So I watched the miniseries Roots. There is a scene within Roots where Kuta Kinte is in the bowels of the slave ship. Now, he is also there with the old wrestler that's from his village, where he was trained to be a man. Now, Kunta is upset and frustrated because he can't speak to the man that's laying right next to him, even though they're chained up, because they speak different dialects because they're not from the same tribe. So Kunta yells out in his frustration. And so the old wrestler calms him down and says, Kunta, men that are chained together are brothers. So he
Mm-hmm.
thought about that and became quiet. So how I've taken that and related that to cycling goes like this. Literally, the man or woman that you are with when you're out on these long, long rides is the person that is going to help you, that's going to talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to share a joke with you, that's going to connect with you, that's going to bond with you, that's going to get you up that climb, that you want to just jump off your bike. It's that story that they distract you with that's going to get you through that last 10 miles of that ride there. You're able to connect with one another. So the struggle or the bondage out there on the bike is literally those hills,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is getting through that last 10 miles. Is even though you done hit the wall, you found something inside yourself to keep
No
pushing,
audio.
you know. hmm And
Somebody said there's
so
no audio on the YouTube.
there's no audio on the YouTube.
Someone just commented and said there's no audio on the YouTube.
Gotcha.
Um, I didn't even know what to do.
And like I was mentioning earlier, don't you worry, we can always reschedule and work all the kinks out and do a part two
Okay.
to this one here because we want to make sure that the video is on point. We want to make sure that the video is on point and that there's no looping or any background noise and so on and so forth.
Okay. So the other thing, what even though it is a bit messed up and stuff like right now, I don't know what you're doing next Friday, but I want to like just jump in this next Friday, and if we can bring a couple more guests to talk about cycling in general. Um,
Yes.
I also want to be able to have like a moment where we just chop it up and just talk about cycling. Like, so you see my thing, it says say it with your legs. Do you have any idea like the acronym SIYWL? Like say it with your legs. Do you have
So
any idea?
interesting enough, say it with your legs. Interesting enough, I was looking back at some of your old videos and
Oh,
podcasts
you
and so
saw
on
me
and
say
so
it.
forth. And I found a video that I think my good brother Mr. Carter shot, and he was playing around and so on and so forth there. But I'm just speculating. I'm just guessing now. But say it with your legs is more so, you know, showing proof of what's in the pudding. Sure, we can
Yeah,
talk, to say, yeah, I average this amount of watts for this amount of time and blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. or I got my KOMs and the PRs and so on and so forth. Yeah, you talking, but let's get out there on the road and
Yeah.
say it with your legs. Show me what you talking about
Yeah,
versus you just
exactly.
saying, hey, I'm the bomb.com and all that stuff.
Yeah. So that is pretty much hit the nail on the head. But the
Yeah.
other thing was that I remember when I first started cycling, I didn't have the greatest equipment, but I was hanging. I was doing my thing. I was enjoying like my introduction into cycling. And man, after like a ride or something, like a hard training ride, you see the videos that Mr. Carter puts up, and he's teasing the guy. So, yo, what happened today? You got dropped or whatever, whatever. So those conversations have been happening since before I started cycling, and when I started, and they continued. And you get to the top of a climb, get to the end of a ride or after a sprint, and someone will always be like, "Yo, man, you was on point last week or 2 weeks ago. What's going on?" And man, you know what? The wife's getting on my case. I haven't been able to ride my bike, man. The tire pressure wasn't where it was at. I just put these new bars on, and the angle of them is not just right, so I couldn't hold the bars properly, and the jersey was a bit too tight, and I should have loosened my shoes. You know what? I didn't tighten the straps to my shoes, so I couldn't really. Man, the excuses, like the tension was low in my spokes, so I couldn't ate everything, and it just got to the point. You know what? You need to just stop with the chit chat and just you know. I've gotten dropped a few times. My first I got into cycling because I got majorly dropped talking smack. You know, and I was working in a bike shop. All the guys in the bike shop were white. I was a BMX pro in the bike shop, basically. I just fixed all of the really nice BMX bikes and stuff. And we had about 8 mechanics. Really big store in New Jersey. It was the biggest bike store on the East Coast at the time. Over 5,000 square feet, massive store. And yeah, I was like, anything to do with BMX, I did it. Like, yeah, it didn't. I just did it. I just and we used to go back and forth with the guys. The roadie guys would come in, and the BMX kids would come in, and the roadie guys would start talking, and me and the BMX kids would be in the corner. Look at those guys in their tights and stuff. They ain't faster than they really, they if they fall down, they cry, whatever. Like, we guys crush all the time. This is hard. And it just like a back and forth started to create, like, cyclists ain't real cyclists. BMXs don't have a clue. And they just got tired of it. Said, okay, well, come on and ride. You think we can ride? And I don't got a bike, man. The guy who owned the shop, my boss, was my height, and he had owns a bike shop. He's got lots of bikes, and they just rolled a bike down to me. Here you go. Here's a bike. So I ain't got no shoes. I ain't got no clothes. I can't, whatever. They went to the sale basket a week later, brought all of this stuff, helmets, shoes, socks, and stuff. They must have spent, back in, the 90s, must have spent $100 because it was a sale bucket. So, between them, like, and then here you go. I'm like, man. I said, okay, cool, whatever. I rode BMX a lot, so I had a good spin. I had a cadence. I was fit. We got to this. We went out and they were going. They were rolling. I was hanging in there. So, and this ain't no big deal. Like, you guys ain't. And we got to this hill, and I put the cart before the horse. They started going up the hill. I was like, man, these guys ain't going. And I just went go boom. And I didn't assess the length of the hill, the effort. I didn't know anything about it at the time. A quarter way from the top, I just tanked. I was done. They rolled past me, and as we got to the top, I could still see them. And I said, I'm gonna get on the back, and I just couldn't get on the back. Now, the funny part is this ride was like an hour and maybe 15 minutes, like maybe a 20-mile loop or something. I ain't never been out in the country in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I had no idea where they went when they got out of sight. And I was just riding, just turning left, asking people how to get back to Ridgewood. We left at 7. I got back a little bit after 1:30 or something.
Wow.
Cause I was just riding all over the place, going wayward all over the place. I was just so lost. Finally got back to the
Yeah.
shop. Man, they ripped me. They just laughed at me. They teased at me. From that point, I just said, you know what? Took the bike and I started going on these rides. I started training. I was in Prospect Park, doing the rides, and that's what started me. That's what like really drove me into cycling. That's what got me into like the road bike racing. Just that.
Yeah.
So that's my little story. So maybe I have to condense that and run that back another time. But yeah. So somebody says they can't hear the audio. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what we're gonna do is like if we could try to like plan for next week. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
do a
I think
bunch
that
of
would work out good. Yeah.
shows on my own and stuff, and just talk to myself and just talk smack, talk about the Tour de France, and
Yeah. Yeah.
just trying to work out the bugs in this and see what's going on. So come next
Okay.
week, hopefully I'll have it polished and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think you want to try for 11 my time or 1 o'clock again my time?
1 o'clock your time because I finish at the shop,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so I have
That
to
sounds
get up the hill and stuff. And but yeah, but
okay.
this has been dope, man. I appreciate your patience and everything, man.
Sure. Sure.
So, but
Yeah, yeah. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to be able to, connect with you, converse with you, and just share information back and forth.
definitely, definitely, dude. So we got to talk about next time. You, if you've raced, if you decided to like just like we're gonna get into you a little bit, some the nitty gritty bit of you, and then if you got anybody that's interested that wants to jump on the line that we can bring in and stuff, and that's probably working with you, or maybe one of the kids that can talk about. You didn't even have to bring the kid. Maybe you could just do a video and then send it to me. Then I could play it back or something. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I can send you some of the links from BCYC. We shot a lot of videos. I had some interns and things like that. They were good with video cameras and editing and so on and so forth.
mm-hmm.
So we got some real nice videos, really highlighting the program and really expressing and talking about all of its high points and what it's about. I could definitely give you those links. You could take a look at it
Yeah.
and get some feedback on it.
Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna work the bugs out of this one, man. This is driving me crazy. So the delay, the echo, everything. So yeah,
No problem. No problem at all. No problem at all. So
but
yes, good brother. I have to go and prepare myself, get ready for work, and do my little evening shift.
no worries, man.
Yeah, yeah. But I greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to reconnecting with you next Friday.
Definitely, definitely, most definitely.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Alrighty, my brother.
It's all right. You take it easy. All right.
You too as well. So you could just can you? I guess you could just sign off when you're ready. So I'm gonna try and there he's gone, and we're here by myself. And no, we don't want that. We want to end this screen share. Is that screen share? No, we want to. What's screen share? So, like I said, we're building a plane as we fly it. All the people on Instagram, thank you, for, and the couple people that still logged in. If you're listening to me right now, I'm trying to figure out right now how to get the entire screen. No, I don't want the entire screen. I don't want a new scene. I don't want a new show. Oh my goodness, man! I really gotta figure out how to. So we're gonna close that down, and it should be mode to just come out of the Ecamm Live. So if you're still locked in, camera effects, switcher, interview, overlays, scenes, interview, nope, overlays, nope, that's not what I want. Okay, that one, settings. My photo stream has been shut down. Well, I'm not interested in that. Thank you, Apple, for the informing me of that. And it should be all the way to entire screen, current application. Okay. I think let's see. Your Legs Media, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.